Hey, what is going on, my fellow Sagittariuses? Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your November monthly read. Happy birthday to all my late November Sagittariuses. Put in the comments your birthday. I like to see it. I am a December 18th is my birthday, so I'm a December Sagittarius. But like I said, happy birthday to all my Sagittariuses. I'll probably say it again when it comes time we get into December. I actually took a couple days off. I wanted to get this. I'm an Afromov fan, the artist, and absolute love Alley by the Lake. I'll post a picture sometime. Actually, had to have it. But, so I went the red and the blue. It's the duality of it all. Anyway, with all that being said, this is for November, from now to the end of November. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your sun, moon, rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. Comment your birthday. I want to see who's born when, if you want. Also, what do you think? Does it look good? Anyway, with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Sagittarius for November 2025? What do we got for Sagittarius universe? Let me see for November 2025. Right. So starting off, Sagittarius, I mean, we start off with the Sun card, so that's a nice start. I see November being filled with a lot of happiness. You know, I see some really good things happening for you. First and foremost, though, is I feel like now, because it's for the whole month, I see this connection as a friendship. You know, so it may be someone you already know or a friendship coming in. But I feel like there's definitely something going on between the two of you. You know, this may be someone you work with, someone you go to school with, someone that lives in your building, someone that lives in your neighborhood. I definitely feel like there's this vibe of a friendship, you know, but that's not it. You know, there's something else going on with this person. Like, you feel some sort of way with this person. Like, there's definitely could be something there. You're not wrong. You're right. I feel like this person is not telling you how they really feel. You know, I feel like this person sees you in a way as much different than the way it appears, but they're keeping it to themselves. You know, I feel like they're keeping this little secret from you. With the Seven of Swords, but the Five of Cups, what that tells me is that there's a reason why this person's keeping this secret, because they feel like they need to. Like, they're not really sure that you're on the same page, but I feel like they just feel comfortable. It happens very quickly, this very quick energy of just feeling comfortable with you, just like enjoying you. You know, with that Knight of Wands, a Sagittarius energy, when they have the Ten of Cups, that feeling of, you know, like feeling comfortable, as in like the feeling of being home. being amongst people that you care about. So there's all these feelings this person has, and they're really not sharing them, though. Like I said, with that Seven of Swords, they're kind of keeping it buried. You know, they're fighting the temptation. We have the devil in reverse. You know, they're very tempted by you, but they're fighting that temptation. I feel like for some of you, this may be just the fact that this person doesn't want to ruin what you have. Like I said, because this can be a friendship you already have that's already intact. And it's like they're feeling some sort of way about you, but they don't want to ruin what you already have. And for others, it's like they don't want to take that leap in case the pool's empty. I mean, they're putting a lot of effort into this, and it's not good for their well-being. I mean, we have the Tower cards, we have the Ten of Wands. They're putting in a lot of work to keep this secret. They're not doing very good, though. Like I said, I feel like you already know what's going on here. Like you already have the sense that there's something happening between the two of you. So they're not very good at it, but they're trying real hard. And that effort that they're putting in is just causing them to be more miserable. You know, it's like suffering without reason. Now, with this person, you may notice there is times of hot and cold with this person, and that may kind of confuse you. That's common. And the reason why that's happening is because I feel like this person just can't consistently be around you. They're not saints. They can't be around you and hold back what they feel for you all the time. So sometimes they need a little bit of space. But when they're not around, they're thinking about you. You know, I just think they have a lot of fun with you. They just enjoy that fun-loving energy. But this happens a lot for Sagittarius. I mean, as a Sagittarius myself, a lot of people misunderstand us. I've been told by so many people that we're really flirty, which I don't see it because I feel like I'm just a nice person. But I feel like I guess I can see it if I look at from a different perspective, is because the way we are. So it may be hard for someone that's into you to decipher whether you're into them. And I feel like that's what we're running into. That's the issue we're running into with this person. I mean, but what I see is I don't feel like this person, they're not really going anywhere. I don't feel like that's the plan. I feel like the plan is to move forward with this. They're waiting for the right moment with that three of Wands. The right moment to make that offer. Wanting to take you out, wanting to, do some things with you. Show you a good time with that Knight of Cups. See where this can go. And I feel like that spontaneous moment where this person, that moment that they're waiting for, is all they need is an inch and they'll take the mile. They just want to know that you're on the same page. And I feel like there's a moment where we have some really open discussion with this person, and this person just gets to see that door open just a little bit, and they'll get in there. We have the Eight of Wands, that open communication. Not only open communication, but very honest. Very direct with that Queen of Swords. I feel like they're just listening to, they're with that Moon card. I mean, they're letting their imagination get the best of them. Like they're feeling like this is too good to be true. Like you're too good to be true, and this would just be too easy if it was, a feeling on both ends. Sometimes things can be too good to be true, and sometimes they're just as true as you think they are. But like I said, this person, I mean, fantasizing about you, dreaming about you, just that they enjoy being around you. You make each other laugh, you have great conversations, and I feel like the conversations are going to get deeper and deeper until that one conversation that sparks this whole thing to turn around. Once this person gets even the inkling that you're on the same page, that's when they take their shot. That's when this person, like I said, they're going to open up. Those walls are going to come down. They're going to come down very quickly. Reminds me of school. When you're in school, you always get a friend that will ask the other person if they're into you. They don't have that luxury, so I feel like they just got to roll with it. But I mean, I see a great connection between the two of you. Like I said, I see this is just the opening of doors. Once that door opens, all these doors start opening. And like I said, once this person gets the idea that there's a possibility, I mean, they're drawn to you. We have the Empress. So as soon as they see an opportunity, they're going to take it. They're going to tell you. And I don't think you're going to be that surprised. Like I said, I feel like you already have a feeling that there's something this person's feeling. Generally when somebody has deep feelings for you or like strong feelings for you, we can feel it energetically. And sometimes it's like a tip off. Like we already know. But until they actually say it, we don't know for sure. Well, they're going to say it. That's what I see coming towards you. I see this person. I mean, I feel like this person gets you. I feel like it gets you in like a plethora of different ways. I mean, I feel like this person just gets your sense of humor. I feel like you have good laughs. Like I said, I feel like you have a good time. I feel like you have some light conversations and some deep conversations. But I feel like sometimes, like I said, Sagittarius get a bad rap, and sometimes people say that we're really flirty. I don't think so. So sometimes if somebody thinks we're flirty, I mean, it's hard to pick up who you're flirting with genuinely. And I feel like this is kind of this person's problem, is like you're just kind of a nice person, and that's how they see you. That's what they're drawn to. They have fun when they're around you, and it's something they want more of. But because you're a nice person, sometimes that can be misinterpreted as you're just being nice to everybody. When people think you're flirting, you're just a flirty person with everybody. It's kind of hard to tell who they're really flirting with, but that's on them. That's not on us. With this person, I mean, I got some Taurus and some Capricorn. We have some Pisces. I'm getting Gemini and Aquarius, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. I don't know why we get that rap. Like, I don't know how many times I've been told by people that they're like, why are you flirting with that person? Or you like that person? And I'm like, no, why? And they're like, oh, you're flirting with them. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't see it, Like, if I like to see people smile, and sometimes, if I notice something about someone, like for instance, there's this lady that works at our local Tim Hortons that I go to all the time, and I see her every day, and she's an older lady, probably in her 60s. So I mean, I wasn't flirting with her, but I remember somebody had mentioned it to me because one day I went in there and she had her haircut, and it looked really different. And I said, "Oh, your hair looks really good." I do it because I assume that I noticed it, but I do it because I assume when people do things, they do it because they want to feel good about themselves. And when you give them a compliment, that makes them feel good. Like when I'm out and somebody says something nice, like, oh, you're losing weight, or, you look good today, or I like your hat, or I like your shirt. I mean, I like that. So that's how I am. I was actually with Rose one time, and we were at a McDonald's, and there was a girl working there, and she had these like ice blue eyes, and they just popped. And I was like, oh, you got really pretty eyes. And then I remember Rose said to me, she said, she's going to take that as a flirt. I'm like, well, I didn't mean it as a flirt. I just She's like, well, girls take it that way. I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry that they took it that way, but I say what's on my mind. I don't have a filter between here and here. It just comes out. But I mean, it's, so it's like that. And I've had the same rap in high school. I mean, if I say something nice to someone, I remember I almost got in a fist fight with a guy because this girl, she had changed her hair color, and she was part of a group of friends that we all hung out with, and she looked really different. And I said, oh, your hair looks really good. And it turned out to where it got back to him that I was flirting with her, and I wasn't at all. She wasn't. I'm not that guy. If you are with someone, I'm not that guy. I just thought it was a nice thing to say. And I remember he was so mad at me, and after he said, I'll meet you after school, and we got outside at school, and I was like, dude, I said, we can fight if you want, but that isn't what I meant. I was just trying to, make a person feel good. Like, I like when people smile. I like, and I pick up on a lot of things. And I assume when people do things like that, they want, they want to be noticed, I mean, I know, obviously, I'm not going to say something about, your physical. I'm not going to say, oh, nice butt, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say something like that because that's obviously, to me, that's flirting. When you're talking with their physical, if you say, oh, hey, you look like you lost weight, that's a compliment. That's not flirting, But if I say, hey, you look sexy, then I guess I can see where that would be, misunderstood is what I'm going to call it. But like I said, sometimes when you're into someone, and I guess when they say things, nice things, and they're, just trying to be nice, and they're friends with you and stuff, sometimes it's really hard to tell if you're reading too deeply into it. And the second part of that is if you get it wrong, you just screwed up a friendship, because it generally doesn't go back to normal after that. I've seen it crash and burn. I had, we had two friends actually just not too long ago that, he thought he was getting a vibe, and they were friends for years. They had other partners, and then became single, and he thought it was his chance to take a shot, and now he can't even be around her. He actually had to quit his job. They worked together. He had to quit the job because he said it was too damn awkward. So I get it. I get it. But I feel like if you have certain, like I said, you feel that energy, there's a certain energy that just can't be misinterpreted. It really, sometimes you can have a crush on someone, maybe don't always act on a crush. But I feel like if it goes on for long enough, it's not a crush anymore. You're probably genuinely into the person, and sometimes you just got to shoot your shot. I remember he told me he had to quit because he had told me he was working somewhere else. I said, how's work? And he's like, oh, I had to get a new job. I'm like, why? And then he told me the story, and I was just like, okay, that's awkward. Anyway, be good. Take care. Stay safe.